What's going on, everyone, and welcome to RabidMining YouTube channel. Rabid here, and today we're finally putting together the server build for running nodes, your own pools and staking and whatever else that involves with cryptocurrencies. So I do want to give a big shout out to Be Quiet for actually sending me this case here. This is the Silent Base 802. This is the Dark Power Pro 12. It's a 1200 watt titanium rated power supply, and the Dark Rock Pro 4, which is ultimately a beast of a cooler. Now, these two things are not going into this thing, at least not yet. Eventually, I have other plans for this. One, I want to put that cooler up against an NHD 15 to see how it does perform and compare on like 3950Xs as well as 3900Xs. And then this Dark Power Pro 12, which is titanium rated, I do want to test this versus gold as well as bronze power supplies, just to show you how much power at the wall you can actually be saving by running better PSUs other than standard gold rated for the purpose of mining crypto. Also, I'm guessing the most of you crypto miners out there are actually running your ATX power supplies wrong, where the peak efficiency actually sits at only 50% of its max power. So let's actually go through the parts that I'm actually going to be putting into this Be Quiet Silent Base 802 for my actual server purposes. So when it comes to the actual motherboard and processor, I'm going to be throwing Rig 3 into that server. So this is an X570 ASIC motherboard, and it's on a 3900X Ryzen CPU. I'm going to pull this 4GB card off of it and slap it into this little RevTech mixture rig here. So this is the main components we're going to throw in. I'm also going to be throwing in these two hard drives, which I did use for chia mining. So I'll continue mining chia or farming chia within this server PC as well. And as for the GPU, I'm probably going to utilize this garbage MSI Gaming X RTX 3060 Ti because, and a lot of you guys are wondering why I keep calling this thing garbage. Well, it's quite simple. This thing is so LHR'd and butchered that no matter what you do settings wise, anywhere from 800 core upwards to 1500 core, anywhere from 0 memory upwards of 3600 memory, it will not break 41 or 42 mega hash. No matter what, the power definitely goes up, but it won't do anything. So this thing is garbage when it comes to mining Ethereum and most memory-based algorithms. The core algorithms is still not too bad, but regardless, this thing will just go and sit idle for most of the time. Maybe I'll throw it on FLUX or Raven or something, but this will be going into this server build. And the power supply I will be utilizing is this 750 watt EVGA that I got hanging out back there. That's what's currently running right now, and that's what I'll use for this server as well. Now, a couple things about this case that I initially noticed is one, the quality and everything seems very good, but there are some things that people may not like. One being, ultimately, when you first feel it and stuff, it feels like that cheaper type of plastic. But looking at this thing, it looks absolutely amazing. So honestly, you know, it's a case. It's sitting there, it's doing its thing. You're not playing with it and ripping it apart 1,000 times a day. So you don't really have to worry about that aspect. I actually have a Dark Pro 900 right here, the base version, and I love this thing. This thing's absolutely awesome. But coming forward now using this one, like it has the shroud, it can fit pretty much any AIO size up there, all the way up to 360 millimeters in the front, top, half the size potentially in the back here. But you can load this thing up with fans, take fans out, has a shroud in it, all sorts of crazy cool things. These things are actually pretty cool. Now on my actual Dark Base Pro 900, you have 4 screws in each top corner here that you actually have to pull out to take off this actual window here. This is so much easier. There's simply a button in the back you have to push like so. So you just hit that button and it just pops open and it's out. So it's like super easy, little bit of thumb action and bam, there you go. It's so easy to clip together, pull apart. It makes, you know, life that much easier. So I got the IO shield installed. Now some motherboards require it in beforehand and others you can do it after. I put it in beforehand. We'll see if we run into any issues. Now I have my motherboard with the 3900X as well as the Wraith Prism cooler out and over here already. I got the power supply we're gonna use right here. I got my chia farming drives right here. You can see my makeshift 3D printed stackers. I can just keep, as I had hard drives, stack them up. Obviously we're gonna have to pull this out of here to get them inside of this case in general. And then I got an extra one here, which is just for storage use purposes. So as I add like multiple VMs possibly, and then, you know, I want to run my own pool and staking and whatever else, just more storage for wallets and everything. That way I'm not running everything, which I ran into previous issues. This is only a 120 gigabyte hard drive, so this is just for booting into Windows itself, and then ultimately everything else will go into here. I did start to fill this up with the Chia blockchain, so my actual Chia plotting and farming and everything has been offline for like a month or something now. So I haven't been doing anything with Chia until I finally get all this stuff finally back together. Let's get this motherboard installed and see what happens. I now have the back of the case actually open, and I unwired. We got all our cabling here for USB 3, USB-C, you know, your power button, everything right here. I got my SSD slot here, so this is where I'll put in my actual SSD drive for my boot drive in Windows. We got a fan controller. We have room for 3 more fans if we want to utilize this fan controller and installing more airflow. So I'm going to finish up this build and we'll see what it looks like. Obviously, we got a power supply to put in. We got our hard drives we got to put in there, hook up all our wiring, and then fire it up. So everything is pretty much in order and ready to go at this point. We'll just take a look at the back here. So I do have some cable management that I got to deal with, but I do have some of these Be Quiet Velcro straps that it does come with. So one thing I do want to point out, this SSD would not fit into this little bracket here. I tried squishing it in, putting it in, but then it wouldn't fit. And when I squished it too hard, the SSD started to want to come apart a little bit. So I put it up here. There's another bracket for 2 more SSDs. As you can see, it'll screw into the backside. So maybe a different brand or something would fit into this one better, but this one did not want to go into well. Other than that, I'm going to get everything all looking good, and then I'll start putting everything together and turn this thing on. So this is finally all complete. So everything's put together, all good. Hopefully everything's running and I didn't miss some wire anywhere, but I think everything's solid. But while I have this here, before I get this into place, there's a couple things I want to point out. So on this, you can actually invert your complete system. So you can make the window and everything go on the other side, flip your motherboard GPU right around, have it kind of going sideways, upside down. You know, a lot of customizations can go on. And I also just noticed I didn't put the PSU shroud back on, so I got to pull this apart and do that again, but that's all right. Other things you can do here is this can come right off. You can customize this. You can throw this screen on if this is something you want to see. So this could go on like so. Other options you have here. Here you can see the quiet mode. I'm just going to leave it in quiet mode, but you can see all the insulation going on inside of these pieces. That does actually silence it down. On top of their silent wing fans there that they do use, absolutely quiet. Now I want to go over to the top here, and this can come right apart. You can see we can pull this all off, that all off. And I'm actually gonna put on another screen. So we're gonna have it so we can actually see the be quiet symbol here, or name. You can slap that on so we can do this. So if you have fans up top or a rat or something, it can blow through the screen, or vice versa. If you're sucking in, now obviously if you're at the top, you don't want to be sucking in through the top because all the hot air inside this is rising. So it makes nice exhaust fans. And I do find myself, I run my rat in the front because it does blow that air. It sucks the cooler air here and does allow the hot air to rise. Sometimes your GPU may run a little bit warmer in that configuration, but with my 3080 and that one over there, I have no issues whatsoever. So that's how I like to run it when I do run rads inside of my actual cases. Okay guys, so it is on, and wow, I'm actually surprised. I cannot hear a thing. All I hear is stuff coming out of this one, but this is all mining and everything. So once I get this thing doing whatever it wants to do, I can check on it later. But right now, idling, absolutely silent. Can't even hear a sound. I got a keyboard and mouse plugged into the top. They are right here. And I got it going on my capture display. So on my capture card, I can do everything I need to do on this server PC here. So that's awesome. So I'm just gonna have it right beside here. But yes, everything seems to be working. So now this thing can start making a lot more money. Well, there we go guys, the server is up and running. Now what am I actually going to use this for? Some of you guys may be wondering. Well, this is where I'm going to put in, like, say, my own Yatacoin pool, because if you do want to solo mine something like Yatacoin, you need your own pool. So I could make my own pool in this thing. I'm going to put my Pulsar wallet in for staking. Staking Pulsar is extremely profitable. If you don't know about Pulsar, take a look at it, check out my other videos, but that's another way to make passive income. Depending on the resources and everything I'm using, obviously I'm going to use the extra threads. My CPU will be mining. I'll get that GPU mining something. I don't know. That is a garbage MSI 3060 Ti, fully LHR'd, as max as you can LHR something. That's what that thing has. It's horrible, 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 horrible. But I'll get it mining something. In the end, you know, once I get everything going, I think this server alone, on top of experimenting with other coins and stuff, could potentially be making anywhere from $6 to about $15 a day just inside this server PC right here. So awesome. As for the overall about this case, I will do like a complete review on this thing at some other time. I just wanted to get this build up and running, but overall, you know, to build in this thing, extremely easy, lots of room. You can move your whole motherboard tray up or down if you actually want. I don't think I mentioned that earlier, but you can do that. I didn't have to in this case, but you know, absolutely awesome. Like I said, also dead silent. I could not hear a thing coming off this PC case right now. So awesome. I'll see what happens once I start mining on certain things in there and actually get this thing going full out, and then we'll kind of, you know, see what's going on. Other than that, like, the only really downfall on this is that some of you guys might not like it when actually touching the texture. It does feel like that cheap type of plastic and it might break, but overall it looks great. I do think it's very well built and it's extremely easy to get everything up and running in it. So here I am actually inside of the server itself, and I do have Pulsar, the wallet, running and staking. And last night it actually hit, you know, just before 11 o'clock last night, it did mint itself a block. So already it's made about $2.50 in less than 12 hours. So we're going to take that down. What else we got going on here? I do have my Chia chain downloading to update. It's been a while since I touched that, so I'm getting that full node synced up again so the Chia can begin farming. We got the CPU rocking 90 kilohash here on Pulsar as well. I'm trying some solo mining with it, see how that comes out. And then the GPU is pulling about 164 souls, mining ourselves a little bit of A on here. So I got these things. Obviously I got a lot of tweaking and stuff to do, but everything is up and everything is now running. And I am using my 4K capture utility here, so I can run everything right from my workstation. So that's nice and handy as well. So I will do an updated video on this once I get everything tweaked out and rolling, and hopefully this thing could potentially be making us like $10 to $15 a day. That means in like under a year, this complete server will pretty much pay itself off, and then eventually you can just keep adding more and more parts to it for passive income type of opportunities. So thank you very much for watching this, everyone. I'll see you on the next one. Rabid out.